And again, you've got a person who is throwing multiple human fecal matter at your face, at your head, at your neck, at anything she could hit. So I got up out of bed and I grabbed her by the shoulders and I sat her down on the bed. And I said, I'm leaving.
I don't. I just don't. I don't know. I can see defending yourself, protecting your health, your body from an abusive significant other.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't know that it's ever appropriate to hurl poop at someone, even under threat of death. It's just, especially for like a woman, and this may sound sexist, it's just so unladylike.
Yeah.
To just like reach behind and let like you're a chimpanzee at the zoo, and this kid looks at you funny, and you just throw your feces at his face, and then like his brother laughs at him, but he's scarred for life. I just don't think that's appropriate for an actress of Mrs. Heard's caliber.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty Neanderthal and vile. I gotta say, it's very it's apish.
It's ape. That's what it is, and in a non-racist way, because both parties are white. It's the most just. I don't know why I had to qualify that, but that's what's happening.
This is why I feel like a Southern accent is where you're going to be most comfortable with your tongue disability.
So I ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Deplorables with Attitude. I'm your host, BenBen. I had a kayaking accident over the weekend where my vessel capsized in a ravine or a river. It was a class 3 rapid trek of the river area, which I heard is decent for an amateur myself to take on. So bravo to me, I suppose. But my kayak, with the lack of competency that I had, capsized and was pinned between two rocks. And I subsequently bit my tongue in the process of almost dying and drowning down in that it was like a swell or something where the devil just comes out from the water and says, fuck you. And I said, no, fuck you. But then I bit my tongue and now I fucked up the podcast. So this is the kind of the level where I feel comfortable. I'm curling my tongue in such a way. At first, I'm aghast by Amber Heard's fecal matter, pummeling of a fabulous, American hero like Johnny Depp. But at the same time, I am in significant pain. And it's the easiest for me to talk with my tongue as is if I curl it appropriately. Should I come across as Matthew McConaughey or some other vestige of great American cinema, I do apologize. This is not an affectation that I know to incite or to call upon as a thespian. Rather, this is a means of therapeutic advance to get through the podcast. And I will do so to the best of my ability with Sara by my side. Sara is my hospice nurse for this podcast, taking care of my tongue and such. Probably taking on some of the heavy parts of this cast when my tongue says, no, sir, you must wait your turn.
It's I
Got
don't know how the
spray
tongue
right here.
trumped fecal matter, but
I mean,
it's
like for real though, like I will be talking like this the whole podcast, so just deal with it. But I mean, he's a drug addict. Okay.
yeah.
He's self-admitted.
You're way too good at this accent.
He likes his pills. Okay. He and Paul Bettany, which I think is interesting because his wife was in that movie Requiem for a Dream, and so I think of like Paul Bettany doing like, I don't know, like Oxycontin and cocaine and doing all this shit, and then like his wife is in that movie, and you like to think like Jennifer Connelly plays these kind of like naughty vixens in movies and stuff like that. It's like, oh, that's just she's just acting. But then I think about it, I'm like, maybe she isn't.
Or was she?
Maybe Paul and Jennifer just like to get it on like that, just get a little down and dirty. And I think like that just makes sense because like most women do not flock to a man, regardless of circumstance, in terms of being a movie star, who's knee deep in it. If they're not like to get a little dirty themselves, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the whole thing.
She ain't sobrietful. She ain't abstinent. Sobrietful should be a thing.
What?
Sobrietful. Yeah, full of cheer and sobriety. Sobrietful.
Like
just concatenate that shit. Just put it together.
Yes,
because that Requiem for a Dream is a hard one to swallow. But like, there's just no way that Paul Bettany and Jennifer Connelly ain't like doing lines off each other's titties or something like that. I don't know. There's just no way. And Jennifer, I have to say, some of that scowling from Amber Heard at that trial. I mean, she had that face on all goddamn day. That scowl, like, I mean, for hours. It's like she didn't even change her expression to like. I mean, damn.
She almost reminded me of
if she sneezed, she sneezed with a scowl during that trial.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
No, she almost reminded me of Kate Winslet. Her scowls.
In what way?
Like the expression. Like Kate Winslet can have like a very scowly, stoic.
Oh, I know what you're saying. It's very like
face.
Her resting bitch face is like status quo. It's just who she is. Like she's not angry, but she looks like she is. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's
because Jack, she feels remorse for staying on that raft while Jack froze to death in the water.
I feel like she's like really going through something. It's good acting because she looks as if she's reliving. Like she kind of looks up at him and
justify her lying by saying,
pouty.
She looks like she's really good. She's really good at lying. She does that for a living, so it's probably true. That's not really fair. That's not the way evidence works.
I was like watching her face, and I was like, man, she'll like kind of glance that way, and then like immediately her frown, like pouty frown, her mouth just turns way down, and I'm like, but it's for a flash. It's like so. If she's lying, it's done so
she's
well.
She's not saying anything. He's been on trial the whole damn time. She's been taking the stand. It's not her. She hasn't done shit. She just sits there and stares. She's like, I mean, she's not,
I think it's a shame though. I think they're both great actors.
I mean, no offense to Amber Heard. I'm sure she's a fine actress and everything. She's certainly done an excellent job portraying one of the most successful box office staples of American cinema in the last 35 years into, being the most objectionable, horrific man that we didn't know about until very recently. And if she's lying about that.
Yeah. My thing is like how
she does like to record. I will say I've never met I've dated a lot of crazy psychos in my lifetime. Not intentionally. They flock to me like I don't know, flies on shit or whatever. But they like me for whatever reason. And they don't record me losing my mind over their bullshit.
Not that you can recollect.
Not that I mean, I have not had a court proceeding from one of these hoes. It's like Mr. BenBen on a repeated basis refused to lift the toilet seat, at which time in the middle of the night I attempted to sit down and was accosted by his urinal incontinence. And I slipped off and I broke a nail, and it ruined my day the next day because the catty bitches that I hang out with kept pointing out that I had a broken nail. And I had to say that's because my man, my sugar daddy, he pees on the toilet seat and I slipped off and broke a nail, and that's his fault, not mine, you hoes. I've never had that happen. I've never had to give that, listen to that testimony in court for asking for $1 million or whatever the fuck. So.
But like, what are these women like? Anybody like?
You don't record someone legitimately when you're like, like, hey, you know what I'll do? He's a multi-millionaire, and I'm gonna let him beat me up forever, and I'm not gonna say shit for a while. I
don't blame her for recording. Actually, maybe she just doesn't.
Over years. You
yeah, that's What was I gonna say? I just think about like.
I mean, economically, if you were an abuse victim, right? Sorry for interjecting. I have to say this.
Trying to spit this
economically speaking, you don't get retribution from like him going to jail. Like all the women that like get the guy in trouble that has the income stream, and then his income stream stops because he goes to jail for being an abuser of women. They're like, that's like basic shit. That's like hoe tactics number one. You don't cut off the pot. You let the pot run. And that's what she did. Maybe he was abusive. I don't believe that, but maybe he was. And she thought, my best way of getting even is getting the money. And I'm going to play the long game.
The long game.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I just don't know what people expect when they get with, like, obviously Hollywood. You're going to run into some seedy underbelly shit. People, especially by like I feel like the older Johnny Depp is getting, the more he's becoming the Rum Diary, like Hunter S. Thompson character. I like totally, he looks like an alcoholic. He has for a while, in my opinion.
I think the reason why they're such best friends is they share the same depredations in the evenings. They share the same in the day, actually. He drinks, starts at 9 a.m. I mean, I think that's why you're friends with people like that, which is why I think Jennifer Connelly is probably a hot piece of vixen ass that doesn't mind doing a couple lines, which I think nothing wrong with that. All good things in Sparity. Sorry I keep talking about Jennifer Connelly. I just can't get that brunette bitch out of my fucking mind. When she's in that movie, like, and they're locked in the mall, the Target, and she's riding that electronic vehicle, that electronic kid's like donkey. She's just riding it, and the bad guys that are in there, it stops, and the bad guys come up and put more quarters in the machine, and then she keeps riding it. I'm like, God damn, son. And she likes to do a couple lines of cocaine, throw back some shots. I mean, is that not like top notch in terms of? And she's a mom. I mean, that's a well-rounded woman right there. You know what I mean? And she keeps it all compartmentalized and let one place go over to the other. And but maybe you find out like years later, like the Bettany Connelly brood. Excuse me. They like, I used to watch my mom like do lines while my English adopted father. I'm from Africa. This is the African child talking. Railed my mom from behind up the ass, and it scarred me for life. They didn't know that I could see that, but I could, and I don't know. That's why I gave up on my basketball scholarship, and I'm kind of like kind of apathetic now. About
Where
everything.
Are we? I glanced at my phone for a second.
I'm just thinking about like what it is. Just like there's some things that like you think are good. And they are like, I bet Johnny Depp thought, God, this girl, BPD. I think she's borderline personality disorder. I talked to the girl. She took on the girl on my Instagram. She's like, no, that girl's NCD. I'm like, those traits are kind of similar. And I don't know. But she gaslit him, telling the psychiatrist, Johnny Depp said to me that I'm worthless, that no one likes me, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I had that girl's gaslighting the psychiatrist by taking her own feelings of insecurity and putting them on as if it was hearsay on someone else. Johnny told me this. That's abusive. Look how awful. That's how you feel about yourself, honey. I mean, shit. But hurling poop at that man, I just, that's,
Did she deny that? Did she own that?
She insisted it was the dog's poop, but I don't. He is like, there's just no way the dog hurled poop at me. I didn't know. It doesn't have opposable thumbs. You know what I mean? So also it doesn't have to get up on his hind legs, reach from behind with his front little paw, and then reach back. I don't think the arm or socket of a dog works that way.
I'm going to train my dog to throw poop. He would too.
It was a lot. He said the neck, the head, multiple hurls of the poop.
You think my dog would be a poop thrower?
He's a dumb dog.
Oh, come on.
You have a dumb dog. It's like one of those dogs that has an ongoing fight with his tail and like is his arch enemy. his doppelganger, and it's like, I found him again. Let's go, and he just chases around. Like it's you're back. I'm like
my favorite
newsflash, you never left.
He gets in these like wiggy, not to bring it onto my dog, which I like to do, but he gets into these like wiggy nightmares, like where it's full on, but then he wakes up and it's real, like he's a war vet. And I'm like, what is, and there you like, it takes so long to reel him back in because then he's defiantly barking at some point. And I'm like, what happened? Where are you right now?
Do you think Johnny Depp ever has like dreams like that he's in his movies and like that's his life and he wakes up and like, oh, that was just a movie I was in? Do you think like actors ever do that?
God, probably.
Like there got to be a little narcissistic to be an actor, right? So like you think about like maybe not him because he doesn't watch his own movies, but someone's just like, you know, oh, like Christian Bale might have been like, oh, I wakes up, oh, I'm not Batman. Oh, that's weird. All right, I'm gonna go get some coffee.
How bizarre.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they have a lot of
unfortunately, so some people that just like they're themselves. Like Brad Pitt acts as Brad Pitt. George Clooney is kind of like George Clooney. You know what I mean? Like he's not like the character. So when he wakes up from his dream, he's like, oh, I'm that. It's still me. You know, it's like that. It's like
you're talking about typecast people. They never
not
have to work.
No, typecast
Jason
is
Bateman
different.
is always like, oh no, that was me.
Some people when they're in a movie, they're the movie star. There's a guy like Daniel Day-Lewis. There's no movie star in that guy. That guy is the character that he's playing. Yeah. But like,
did you know? Sorry about D-Day Lewis. That he is a shoe cobbler in Italy.
And that he not anymore. He was an apprentice to a master shoe cobbler. He retired from acting, from being a thespian. Decided he's no longer doing that. I think he's like living in New York, kind of chilling.
I thought he went back to Italy recently.
I think what you're trying to do is your facts are outdated, and you're attempting to regress and be, you know, still have the power in this argument. I can assure you that will not work. He's been most recently sighted in New York City with his wife, living in like an apartment or some shit, obviously. You know, live a fucking house.
What a shame that he's retiring, so to speak.
That might be temporary. I could see that. I could see him getting out of that.
Yeah. I'm looking up Daniel Day-Lewis. Where is he now?
This is Vanessa Parady's comment on Johnny. His ex-wife, Vanessa Paradis, gorgeous bohemian woman from France. I have known Johnny for 25 years. We have been partners for 14 years, and we raised our 2 children together, Apple and Bottom. I'm kidding. Through all these years, I've known Johnny to be a kind, attentive, generous, and non-violent person and father. Paradis shared in her May 20th statement, on movie sets, the actors, directors, and crew adore him because he is humble, respectful to everyone, as well as being one of the best actors in the world. No offense to Amber Heard and her current work on the trial of defamation. She's done excellent work. To stare with that scowl, girl. You stare, you go. She continued, I am aware of the allegations which Amber Heard has publicly accused Johnny of for more than 4 years now. I mean, that is diligence, you know. Like this has been a long process. She's been working on these recordings since like 2013. This is nothing like the true Johnny I have known. And from my experience of many years, I can say Johnny Depp was never violent or abusive to me. And Winona Ryder conferred that same sentiment. So this is an interesting thing. Like, it's interesting when people are accused of a new thing by a certain person in a certain circumstance in their like late 50s or 60s, Woody Allen, and they've never had anyone else ever corroborate similar patterns of behavior.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's...
Plenty of people want to sue movie stars and say they raped them and abused them. There's no reason why that wouldn't come out.
Yeah, which, I mean, she it's such a weird play for her to, like, she's not without connections or whatever. Like, what is she?
A lot of
what's
beautiful
her
women
end
in Hollywood,
game?
baby. A lot of beautiful women. A lot of talent out there. A lot of talent in that ass and that rack. There's a lot of competition. And those, it doesn't last, you know.
He's, I don't know.
55-year-old hot women don't last. That's not really a thing unless you're Paulina Poroskova on Instagram convincing everyone. But it's not a thing where you're leading lady when you're 55. She's cashing
35.
out. Huh?
She's 36.
That's what I'm saying. She's no longer a leading lady.
Yeah.
It ends. I mean, imagine an actor not being a leading man at 36. They're getting to their prime.
Yeah. It's a little creepy when you
cashing
say
out.
lady. You remind me of Kiss the Girls, the guy who ends up being the serial killer on it.
I remind you of the guy in Kiss the Girls? Or is it Along Came the Spider? Because I get confused by all them fucking Morgan Freeman movies from the 90s.
It's Kiss the Girls. That's one of my favorite Morgan Freeman serial
Since
killer.
the dawn of time. I love how he did like serial killer movies, but at the same time he also did like public school videos about like history and shit like that. Like, how much did like PBS History pay him to do a video and narrate that shit? Like, who has the budget to do a high school like Civil War video or some shit to pay fucking Morgan Freeman in his prime in the 90s? Hey, I know you were just nominated for an Oscar, but will you do this like children's video about like Antietam? Who the fuck has that budget? That's crazy. Oh.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say to that.
It's all right. You don't have to say anything. Were you looking up something? What are you looking at?
I'm looking at this Instacart thing. She keeps changing shit and jacking shit up.
She can't change the prices.
She wants to get me decaf tea.
Oh, she wants to like substitute things. It's like, I want to make sure that there's as much money in this car as there was before. Like, hey, do you want like a Ferrari? Would you like to exchange this, like, I don't know, these Tic Tacs for maybe some filet mignons or some shit?
No, did I tell you? So I had to call them when I first ordered. I didn't know that you could like pick replacements or say like, oh, would
you like to exchange these Pringles for maybe 2 racks of lamb? Because they're out.
I don't know when they change things on here, but they when I first ordered through here, they had like, I don't know who the fuck was shot, but I was like looking and it was like replacements that were just like absurd. Like, oh, you of course wanted this, like, instead of chicken, you wanted 10 pounds of like fresh caught salmon, didn't you? And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Or like a Cornish hen.
Both Goldman Sachs and the noted astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson have predicted that the world's first trillionaire will be the person who figures out how to harness and exploit natural resources on asteroids. Can you imagine the thought that must go through your head when you're an EBT card carrier trying to get your eggs in Tampa, Florida, but it's not working because the food stamp provisions and the fund have been depleted, diverted to an extra launch pad at Cape Canaveral so 2 bald asexual trillionaires can battle over asteroid precious metals?
That was done flawlessly.
Elon Musk is bald. He bought his hair. He's bald as fuck. He's just as bald as Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, he's bald with like a weird.
You're not bald. You're just broke. Is what they as they say. You know, as they say. They do wonders in the field of plastic surgery today. Wow, fantastic! Look at me. I looked like Steve Buscemi before they started doing work on me. Shit, man. Close to fucking Hemsworth now. Thank you a lot, Dr. Frankel. NASA has identified over 12,000 asteroids within 45 kilometers of Earth that contain iron ore, nickel, precious metals, and other minerals. Just a single 3,000-foot asteroid I keep thinking of like something else, like asteroid hemorrhoids is what. Yeah, may contain platinum worth over $5 trillion. Shit. Another asteroid's rare earth metals could be worth more than $20 trillion alone. Shit. And here we are, worried about like inflation. But these two like nut jobs gonna be up in space like fighting over fucking asteroids, man. That is the problem that I see happening. Like, is that there's gonna be a gap. The wage gap, the wealth gap is gonna be so big. You have people fighting over planets, but you're like gonna check your bank account before walking in to get like a Whopper off the dollar menu or something. There's gonna be a completely different set of classes. The middle class won't even exist anymore. They had that like Hyperloop trains, and they had like DC to New York, 45 minutes, right? And to make every other small city or on the way a legitimate suburb. Well, what does that do but raise the standard of living in all those other small places that otherwise would be cheap?
Yeah.
And there's not enough jobs to facilitate. It's going to be like a giant world of like welfare, of like government wages that are subsidized. And like, I think for corporations to be able to market to these poor people through the government subsidies and get paid, they're going to value them based off of something called the ESG score, which is their social credit score as a corporation. And if you have a high ESG score, you're able to sell products and get government contracts to the poor, to all the rest of us that aren't Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. By the way, Elon Musk's deal with Twitter has gone through $43 billion, $54 and something per share. Congratulations to me, who did an arbitrage trade, buying Twitter at the perceived notion of the purchase by Elon a few weeks ago, and holding, knowing that I believed the very worst, someone else would come in and offer a higher price.
Yeah.
And so tomorrow morning, the price will hit 54.12, I believe. And I will have come with a bundle, a bountiful. Big fan of mergers and mergers arbitrage, acquisition, M&A arbitrage as it is. Feels good. I don't know what I think Twitter should get rid of the reply function. You should just like say whatever the fuck you want, and no one gets to say shit. Because I think there's too much negativity that outweighs the good in the comments.
Yeah, but sometimes it's really funny in the comments too. So that's.
But you breed bad dictators, right? You give an option for like fake accounts and like for like breeding like animosity and hate and all this. But if you just tweet and no one can say shit back, you might lose engagement to a degree. But like the tweets are permissible. I don't know. Something about the replies. Maybe they should be limited or something. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But maybe that also decreases engagement. But there's something about Twitter. He does have a huge, like problem on his hands in terms of just like you're gonna have to censor people. There's too much bandwidth. Yeah. You're gonna have to like cut some people down. Some people will not be on the higher end of the algorithm's, manifesto. So the reach of some person to have a voice will be clouded out by others that have bigger voices. The democracy of it all is kind of a farce because it doesn't facilitate. It rewards people with audiences already. So it's like a market share issue. And the idea of a blue check mark that I can pay $3 a month and get one, well, that defeats the whole fucking purpose. I've like offered to give blowjobs to people to get a blue check mark on my Twitter. Now, if any asshole that can afford $3 a month can get one, why the fuck do I want one? That's not a really good plan. That's called being effectual. Sit up. You need to be part of the conversation. Get your ass up, and so I can see you.
I like.
You can't talk and have a conversation like that. It's all about me. I'm just a goddamn dictator with a microphone right now with a broken tongue. That's not good fodder for the podcast. You gotta sit up. She's like in this giant California king bed. She's on the other end of it. She's like sideways as she goddamn Cleopatra or some shit. I'm like, what the fuck?
No, so it's alarming how good you are at that accent. It's like a past life coming through.
It's not a past life. I have a medical condition. It's a speech impediment brought on by actual circumstances. God damn. I almost got drowned by a goddamn kayak.
Oh my god. All right, what's yeah, Elon. Elon, I liked all the photos they kept showing of him. Was that the actual event? He was wearing a big bucket, like.
There's no way that man is working as hard as he used to. If he's on Twitter, like randomly replying to like random people and like, oh, that's funny. That's what normal people do.
Yeah.
That also like one of the accusations with him and like Amber Heard, he had like a threesome with Cara Delevingne and Amber Heard in Johnny Depp's attic. What, like, was he home? Is that why they had to go in the fucking attic? Well, if not, why the attic? Like, well, who's fucking up in the attic? You have a goddamn mansion. You can fuck in any room. Why are you fucking in the attic? Are there cameras everywhere? What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
What's up with attics and like rich people, Woody Allen? What is the deal with the attic? I don't really like.
Well, Ed, what's the deal with the basement too? Basements, it gets. Basements, attics.
Basements are where people molested legitimately. Attics are where people lie about it. That's what it seems to be. The difference.
Well, what's wrong with the middle levels? It's just.
That's why it makes me think that Johnny Depp was home and Elon Musk fucked 2 bitches in his house without him knowing it. One of them being his wife. God damn, man, get your shit together. Your woman needs to be held in check.
Yeah. Yeah.
Elon doesn't come across the guy that have threesomes. Like he's like, this is inefficient. Unless there's some way I can harness the power of the sun with her vagina, I don't see the point of having this sexual, reality with these 2 women. This is a waste of my time. I need to go work on robots or some shit. Maybe fix Joe Biden's brain or some goddamn shit like that. How many people has Joe Biden tried to shake hands with that aren't even fucking there? I mean, he could put a neural link in that motherfucker right now so he can shake hands with real fucking people, not ghosts. He's been like shaking hands and like Demi Moore's been like, it's him. I'm like, really? Get the fuck out of here. You guys gonna go on the clay kettle and make some pots after this? Make some pots? All right. Ghost.
It's getting loud in here like an old southern courtroom.
Can do so much. Lonely time. I can talk like this too. It isn't so bad. 'Cause time goes by so slowly.
When you go deep, it's a little sinister. Let's stick with the South.
Yeah, but like that is the thing. Like what the fuck is that man doing? Shaking hands with people? I can't see the person you're shaking hands with. That I don't think that he's actually missing people and thinking that they're there. I think he's shaking hands with someone in his head. Like, oh, this Boo. Which one of his kids is dead? Boo. It's Boo shaking hands with his dad from the grave, and he's like, oh, she's like, Dad, you gotta stop shaking my hand because people are gonna think you're shaking like air right now. Kind of look crazy. Your president got in, and he's like, oh, okay, I'll stop. And then he always looks like kind of off and confused afterwards. Like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have shaken my dead son's hand when everyone's staring at me. That looks kind of weird.
One of my theories was that he can possibly reach the other side dimensions. Bruce Willis, Sixth Sense. Maybe he's dead. We don't know. Where's the twist?
Bruce, first of all, Bruce Willis has aphasia. He's not dead. He just retired from acting.
I just talked about the Sixth Sense, which you missed in the whole clicking monster. I don't know what you tapped it out.
Yeah, but when you talked to me about the other day when you saw that he was dead, you just referenced him being dead in real life.
Because a magazine was very misleading. Instead of saying his acting career was dead, they're like, Bruce Willis is done. And I was like, what? That's
not the way you eulogize someone by saying they're done.
Well,
that doesn't mean they're dead.
I don't think it was done. I swear it was like Us Weekly or something was like Bruce Willis.
It's not a chicken dinner. Like what the hell is that shit? Like
I don't.
It'd be funny like that's how we did it. Like he's finished, and it's like Michael J. Fox is dead. He's finished.
Stick a fork.
That's what I heard people say. Like Michael J. Fox is like a big druggie. That's why he has. That's why he shakes all the time now. What's that called? The shakes.
Parkinson's.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's why he did it, because he did all them goddamn drugs. He tried to try to do all the drugs and try to, be an asteroid monopolist like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, but he couldn't make it because cocaine lies to you. It doesn't really give you, all that it says it does.
Yeah.
If Madison Cawthorn is gaslighting everyone about orgies in D.C., what does he do at the parties?
The parties?
Madison, the congressman from North Carolina that works out of a chair because his legs don't work anymore, saying about all these orgy parties, all bullshit. And then he comes out with him wearing a dress, at like some party or event, like, he's into the orgies, like he gaslighting people. But my question is, if he really was gaslighting because he's ashamed of being part of the orgies, I'm like, what does he do at the orgy party?
Yeah.
Does he like have some weird like sex thing in a wheelchair with like eyes wide shut, Stanley Kubrick directing him or some shit like that? Like, what is the point of him at an orgy? Is what I'm saying. I mean, no disrespect to the paraplegic and the disabled, but like, what good is he? He's a handsome man. He looks like goddamn Captain America, but like, it don't work. It don't work.
Yeah. I don't know what to say about this.
What would you do with a wheelchair bound man and that looks like Captain America and orgy, Sarah? What would you do? Or if you were encourage him to go to an orgy, how would you facilitate his participation at said orgy?
My mind doesn't go there. I can't.
What, Sarah? It's a simple question. If you invited a paraplegic to an orgy, how would you ensure that he had a good time?
Maybe instead of like, I don't know, Andrew. I can't do this one.
It's BenBen. God damn, slut.
I'm very sorry.
God damn, girl.
We have to start that one over.
No, we don't have to start it over. I don't care. I've mentioned my name a million times in this show. I've given out my social security number. You just have to go back to previous episodes and lack them, and it will be revealed to you.
Just so you know, just because you just yelled, I am recording you from here on out.
That's silly. You'll get nothing. You get no multi-million-dollar settlement out of me. That's for damn sure. I do think it's interesting though if you're trying to justify that you are the victim of something, and that every single thing that you bring up is sort of like not in the same category. Like, he yelled at me because I was being annoying, and he also does cocaine. So that means when I said that he hit me, it was true. Mm-hmm. That's tough, man. It's tough. Like, I'm just saying, like, it sucks that in reality, Johnny Depp probably won't win his suit, but that at the same time, it hasn't been established that he did hit her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like a toxic relationship that got way out of hand. And I'm sure everything did actually happen, which is the most entertaining part. I'm like,
what does that mean?
I'm sure she probably, like, I don't know, just studying their faces. But I'm like, man, I bet this shit did happen. I bet she threw fucking poop like Coco the gorilla. And he was like, just fucked up, calling her cunt and fat ass. And he hit it, but
he beat her. He beat her.
Yeah, I'm sure it all happened. I think they were both taking whatever, delights and substances and thrills and fancies. But no, I think that they were both indulging in, whatever.
I have a question. If you're enjoying drugs, why do you record your drug episodes?
No, but she didn't make it seem like she was on them. That wasn't the whole point. But
why is she recording everything in a private relationship with someone? That's weird.
Yeah, well, in a way, I think maybe to ensure that he never did it to anybody else.
But she started recording him back in 2013.
Yeah, that's assessment.
It's a long time ago.
If it would have happened a little sooner, I could really hold to that one. But I don't know. But
Sarah,
I'm just saying they were both in a really toxic. Have you ever been with somebody where you're like, this is fucking insane?
Yeah, the sex is usually fantastic.
Yeah,
but
it's
I will
fucking
agree that I have asked myself, why am I here? Oh wait, I remember the sex. That's usually how it goes in my head.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I think it's just probably that. But in this, they have a lot of money. They have a lot of free drugs and this, that, and the other connections.
But like he decided to be abusive this late in his life. It's strange. I'm not saying it's not true. Actually, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. It's not true. She's a lying hoe. But why would, if it were true? It's strange.
I just think that, well, it's not that strange. I don't know. I mean, he's just, it doesn't help that he's looking smarmier and smarmier. Like
he's an old man,
like a Hispanic drug lord or something.
He does look like he's like the head of Sinaloa cartel or something.
Right,
like that, yeah.
It's so bizarre.
I don't know why. Like his handlers said, "Oh, Johnny, you know what you should wear to court for the abuse libel case? An a la page suit, and make sure you wear all your rings."
Yeah, and his hair like tied back. I'm like, this doesn't look well.
Do you think you'd ever like got headed to court from the hotel? Like, oh my god, I forgot my pinky ring. We got to go back.
He looks like what's that one Tarantino movie with Salma Hayek, vampires? What is that one?
Oh, From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, he could have been in From Dusk Till Dawn now. Like,
it's rough. It's rough when you got so many damn accessories at his age. Like you got scarves and necklaces and like rings of all sorts. And like you have like weird like I don't know, cocaine like carrying devices and trinkets, and maybe you have to do like an Indian rain dance before you go out of the house. So it's just like a lot of shit he has to do to like get up in the morning and go out and do normal shit. But that's the thing. He's not normal. There's nothing normal about Johnny Depp. Like his life is anything but normal.
That's my like. What are these women thinking when you get with somebody who's lived like with that much for so long? I think a lot of people. You're looking at me like, what?
No, you're going to say something like they lose their mind, they start beating women. And I'm like, I don't think that's necessarily the case. I will say the more money you have, the more like fun life gets in some ways, or you might be more adventurous.
The more the risk is that like you're going to meet somebody who maybe has, like, especially in Hollywood, like a drug, like, like it's going to get seedy at some points. Maybe not all the time, but at some points.
I think the important thing to remember here is this man's career has allegedly just been destroyed by these allegations. Mm-hmm. No criminal allegations, just civil allegations.
Yeah.
There was a divorce proceeding where she alleged that X, Y, and Z happened. She said this in the press. There's no court case about him being abusive or a criminal matter. And this ruined his career. No Pirates of the Caribbean. None of that Dumbledore, whatever fuck, J.K. Rowling turf, trans-exclusionary radical feminist nonsense. We don't like that turf shit here. We're pro-tranny up in this podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Let's not even go down there.
But it's like this man cannot get a job because this woman said that he paid $7 million to her favorite charities. By the way, he beat me. That's it. It's true because I said it. That's why he's suing her, because he can't get a fucking job.
Yeah, unless somebody
is that the world you want to live in?
Like that old, the old-fashioned like Law and Order way, where they like, what are you supposed to like photograph the bruises, go into the station?
She did all that shit, but she didn't actually do the criminal part of it.
Did they show the like her wounds and stuff? Like
yeah, there are pictures of all that shit. Yeah.
Wow.
Him too, from her.
You see, it was just both ways.
There's no criminal. She didn't get beaten up by him, went to the cop. It never happened. This is all just her saying to the press after the divorce, blah, 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 blah.
So she never went in and got photos taken after he beat her.
No, she did photos for herself. She didn't go to the police with any photos.
Oh, well, you can't do it. Everybody knows that who's watched a Law and Order.
But that women don't report.
That you must report.
No, but that's what I'm saying is there is no criminal. This is you telling the press after this podcast that I raped you in this room, beat the shit out of you, then I had basically, since we're the only people except for the dog can talk in the future as a witness. He will refute all the bullshit you told the press. But the point is, your statement, regardless of whether it's true or not, destroys my career in this podcast. But it's not true, and I have no way of proving it. And your way, and I sue you for libel, and then you decide to talk about how I like, I don't know, I'm into all this weird shit when I go on the stand. Like I'm into like sticking lollipops up my butt and then smelling them, or like I don't know, maybe I like to take the weird like little cones they have at the doctor's office that like on the stethoscopes. I like to stick them in my ear before the doctor comes in and like make my ear tickle. Stuff like that. Maybe I like to make long distance phone calls from the doctor's office or some shit like that. I'm talking a lot about the doctor's office. Maybe I like to pull people's masks off that have COVID and then breathe into their face and say, now you've been infected, and then run off. I don't know. Maybe I like to tell girls when I'm having sex with them, I whisper in their ear, I voted for Trump. And then and then maybe I like to do that shit. Sure. And they have purple hair or some shit like that because it makes more sense. I don't know. Maybe. I like all these things, but that does not mean that I beat the shit out of you. It does not mean that, because I like to do a little cocaine, so I beat you. Yeah, that's the problem.
Well,
I'm just saying, I wasn't. It's a big deal.
I wasn't agreeing with. I'm saying it takes two people. I'm sure that a lot of it.
It does not take two people to beat the shit out of someone. It takes one person to do it well.
I'm not saying to beat I'm saying it takes two people to build a toxic relationship. I'm sure they both got pretty shitty. Literally and figuratively.
It only stays toxic because you were abused. You keep coming back. And if that's what the case is, but
and that's what some of their talk sounded like. Like, so you came here to say bye, and then he's like, "Well, I
listen to the context of what you're saying. She's recording something, hidden record, and then she frames the whole setup by talking first. Oh, so blah 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 blah. Without that, it makes no goddamn sense. That's what's so fucked up about it. It's calculated.
Sometimes it's like not like that clip I was just talking about. Like, oh, so you came here to say goodbye, and he's like, I wasn't trying to say.
Did you ever see those things goodbye. Where they show you a ridiculous thing that happens that's caught on camera? It's on like they do it on all the social media. They show a scene that they make you forget that someone had to be there to film it. So they make it seem like it's caught on camera, but it's not. It's so obviously staged.
Why do you act like I'm siding with her? Because
no. What I'm saying, well, because I think people listening to this will have the impression that you believe that he was abusive. You actually just said it too. Like,
no, I think they were abusive to each other.
Physically?
You're not talking your southern accent when you. Yeah, I feel like I'm on trial in like To Kill a Mockingbird. Just relax
physically?
For a minute.
Boo Radley.
Yeah, right. No, I think, they may have gotten physical with each other. She probably was maybe too drunk to go report it or whatever.
But he didn't record her.
And he didn't. I thought you said he took photos too.
No. This is what I'm saying. Those videos on social media, people show like a skateboarder hit the wall and break his dick, and the camera just happened to be rolling at that exact time.
Pause it.
You don't need to go shit. They just leave stuff outside.
In this neighborhood?
It's fine.
I recollect.
Just chill. So you watch this video of a guy breaking his dick on the YouTubes, on the Twitters, and you think, oh shit, that was caught on camera. What an amazing coincidence, or I don't know, 1 in a million. But they filmed it to make hits and clicks. It's not actually a candid camera or like, oh, look at what we got on camera. They set the whole goddamn thing up. This woman recording shit and then talking first to set up the scene because there's no frame of context in an audio recording otherwise is a bit suspicious to me. Especially if the previous recording she has says, oh, I was beaten up by him at this time. And then I waited 6 weeks later. This time he beat me up, and then I recorded again 2 years later. He beat me up. Yeah. Well, you got to talk to the Instacart person.
Voice. Hello.
Yeah.
Yep. Could you hear that?
Yeah. We got an Escalade in the driveway. That's how we roll. On them 22s. I will pause it for the Instacart. And we're back. I'd like to give a shout out to Nick's Ice Cream. I think it's a Scandinavian or like Norwegian, one of them socialist European country ice creams. It's very good. If you've had Halo Top and you're into that shit with the low calories and all that jazz, and maybe you have some sort of a ketogenic diet going on in your life, try Nick's. Nick's is the shit, and it gives you some good varietals that maybe Halo Top does not proffer. So try out Nick's Ice Cream. We're not sponsored, but shit, Nick, what's up? Yeah, I'll plug you every time. No homo. All right, so we're back. Yeah, so all I'm saying, Sarah, about this Johnny Depp thing is the man is fucked. So is it disputable beyond a reasonable doubt that Johnny Depp beat Amber Heard? I say it is, which is why there's never been a criminal court proceeding. But then I go further. Should you be allowed to make accusations as treacherously as Miss Heard has, based off of scantily clad evidence, who her attorneys in this defense trial for the libel have basically ignored in terms of the lack of evidence, and instead gone after Mr. Depp's character. You're a drug addict. You do drugs, therefore you're abusive.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, I'm just saying, like, oh, look, I have a bruise on my face. I took a picture. That means I get to tell people publicly that you hit women.
Ipso
it's a lot.
facto.
That's a lot. Ipso facto. It's a lot. Especially when millions of dollars are at stake. And I used to have a history of buying awkward things like, I don't know, Tyrannosaurus Rex skulls. Maybe that was Nicolas Cage. Or, I don't know, like buying $1 million worth of red wine every month. Whatever the fuck he's into. Did a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
He seems on par. Like, I feel like he shops like Trent Reznor would. Or Maynard. Johnny Depp would be in like that wheelhouse of shopping in darkness.
Who's Trent Reznor?
Reznor? He's the singer for 9 Inch Nails.
Oh. He likes to spend money?
Yeah, I think I was confusing him with Maynard for this, though.
Who's Maynard?
Maynard is... I'm so glad I'm taking you to a little music lesson right here.
I like 9 Inch Nails.
Maynard is the singer for Tool and musician.
Oh.
He plays an instrument.
I love me some 9 Inch Nails. So ahead of their time. Yeah, I just don't know. Like, what I mean.
You made a face like you were gonna sing for a second.
I can't.
Really
my tongue.
sad.
I want to so badly to let people know that I'm a 9 Inch Nails fan.
Pre-breath performance, like.
I wouldn't even if 9 Inch Nails was at the 4 Seasons on an elevator with me, and we both had opposite penthouse suites, and we were headed up. I would not say I'm a fan. I would just start singing, and they would know. That's how I would do it.
Okay, let's talk about after you sing. What do you think their reaction?
If Jude Law was on an elevator with me and a friend of mine, I'd go into the Townsend Mr. Ripley scene. Was like I'm Dickie Greenleaf. Who the fuck are you? That's what I'd do. Rather on the boat scene where Matt Damon kills him, I would do that, and I'd give a nod as the elevator doors open. I leave to Jude Law. That's how I would say I'm a fan. That's how I do it.
I can't believe that's the movie you pick.
What else would you pick of Jude Law's?
What about
that robot movie where they steal like organs from people?
Attica.
That's not Gattaca.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's
Isn't
not.
It? No,
Repo Men. Get your
Well,
shit.
yeah. Well, either one of those would have been preferable over the talented Mr.
Why?
I can't
You're not a Patricia
debate.
Highsmith fan?
I cannot do this parlaying with your current condition. It makes me giggle.
I mean,
You'll win every time because I just burst out laughing. Why?
I just don't. I mean, what's wrong with the talented Mr. Ripley? Nothing.
Physically? Well, no. I mean, it was all right. It's not my cup of tea.
Going full. Well, I mean, for real though, you think it's all right that Johnny Depp can never get a job again?
No, I don't say that. I think he after this he's still gonna have friends and people because there's no evidence to back it. It's just
that's not true. There's evidence. It's just her statement, which is good enough.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. That's all I'm saying. It's an unfair world we live in. It's very frustrating. I just find it hard to believe a man of his age, of his stature. He's a little person. He's not big. I feel like she's likely taller than him. Not saying that she's strong as him, but doesn't necessarily go to the gym and do 500-pound squats. Mr. Depp does. I just find it hard to believe this man all of a sudden got into the hobby of beating the shit out of women.
Well, even in those until he like hits his breaking, like she's obviously like coaxing him, definitely in one of the recordings, and he just like breaks and he's like, "You fucking cunt." And
I would too. I've done that with every woman I've ever been with. At some point, haven't you gotten that from some boyfriends in the past? Like they go like, "Listen, you slut, you cum guzzling whore, bitch, whatever it is." That happens.
Yeah, I just think. No, my point was not to get too sidetracked.
That's love, really, because it comes from a place of like, you hurt me so bad.
Yeah, let me make my point before you go on So like she's obviously antagonistic, and he like breaks and then it's like. But when he's not like breaking and being like cunt, fat ass, rah, he is super mellow. Like he's super chilled out and deep Deppy.
They make this bizarre argument that he's a drug addict that might do horrible things when he's drunk and passed out, but there's no evidence to suggest otherwise other than misheard statements. That's frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see what the future holds.
He might as well be a murderer. He might be a kidnapper of little kids. Who knows what he does when he's high and passed out? It's the same thing. It's unfalsifiable. It's not. When you talk about a libel case with someone that makes as much money as Mr. Depp or yields as much money with his position as an actor and as a public figure, to defame him in such a way with a casual slip of the tongue and to be able to get away with that fruitfully without him being able to refute your allegations that are unfalsifiable without legitimate merit in terms of tangible physical evidence other than that which you produced yourself, I think that sucks. Man, that's like a baker's batch full of fucks right there. That sucks, man. I'm just saying it sucks. I don't think it's necessarily right. I mean, he's a midget man. I don't think midget men start like getting he doesn't seem like a guy who has a big ego. Is like, I like to my bitches do as they're told. You know what I mean? I guess they get the back of the hand. He's not that type of guy, man. I think he's just like go with the flow, do a little coke, do a little oxy, whatever the fuck it is. Get my groove on. But I don't need to beat the shit out of women because like she seems to be the angry one. He's responding to her. And it's like she's pressing record and then she antagonizes him. And that's the only reason we know that, which is an odd way of us determining what's real or what's not.
Yeah. Well, even if she would have like hit video on something and actually gotten like video, like the drunk, my favorite celebrity video is a drunk David Hasselhoff.
with the hamburger on the floor.
God.
That's a sad video, man. He's big in Germany. He's like one of the Hasselhoff and big in Germany, man. He's like Brad Pitt of Germany.
Yeah.
That's been a sad day in Germany, man.
My favorite videos is a drunk Hasselhoff.
He's so sad too. He's saying sad, depressive shit, right? Like, I'm so sad. He's eating his cheeseburger, or he's like, this cheeseburger's all I have. Some shit like that.
Just having a moment. Baywatch.
And you remember his daughter was recording him because of his alcoholism, trying to get him help.
Aww.
That's love, man.
Yeah, that part, yeah.
That's unlike that piglet of Alec Baldwin's, who's recording her dad because his dad wouldn't buy a fucking Ferrari, whatever the fuck it is. Alan Baldwin had all these trips set up, all these calls set up with her father back in the day when she's like 13, and like, I don't know, she just decided not to answer the call. His dad would get offset from doing like, I don't know, Hunt for October 2, whatever the fuck he's doing at the time, and he tried to call his daughter, and she wouldn't be there to answer, and he'd get pissed off, naturally, as a father might, sending all that money to his ex-wife and such. And she recorded it and leaked it to the press to say fuck you to daddy. That sucks, man. That sucks. Then hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Ain't that the truth? So says the song. What do you think about, like, what are your thoughts on hobbits? Are you a pro hobbit or are you anti hobbit?
I'm pro hobbit.
New book, Between Ape and Human, the anthropologist on trail of hidden hominoids, by author and acclaimed hobbit person. I don't know. I don't know his name.
What is happening with that?
This man said, well, between 700,000 and 60,000 years ago, diminutive early human walked the island of Flores in what is now Indonesia. Homo florensis, nicknamed the Hobbit, because it stood only 3 feet 6 inches tall, or if you're into the metric system, 106 centimeters.
Aww.
He was small-brained, large-footed, toolmaker, like this dog right here, and no one knows where it evolved from. But apparently, people have seen sightings of this small little fucker on this island Flores, still, to this day. Like a little pygmy or some shit. And, or like, I don't know, like a little Tom Cruise or something like that, it's just same size, fun size. Like Joe Rogan, no offense, Joe. No one talks about your height. You are a small motherfucker. You might be into weightlifting and doing jujitsu, like magic tricks and all that shit. Good for you, my friend. But you are a tiny, pint-sized man that looks like you could fit into the pocket of anyone. And if it was you and Amber Heard in the situation Johnny Depp's currently in, I think people would not believe that bitch, because they'd be like, he's way too small to beat the shit out of her. That's how small you are. Even though you're given this reputation of being a hard, strong-willed, powerful motherfucker, you are a tiny little motherfucker. All right? You are a little man. You could fit into like the pencil pouch of Dilbert, some shit like that. You are a safe bet that you ain't beating no bitches. They beating the shit out of you. You might have some jujitsu moves or some shit like that. You get them to like a lock and they tap out. But if you didn't have all that shit, fuck that. Amber Heard knocked the shit out of you. All that shit she flied in your face, her hard like she's into eating nuts, give you a goddamn concussion. You done. That's what I'm talking about. All right, fuck it. Fuck this Hobbit shit. The Hobbit may exist, may not. Who gives a shit? My tongue hurts so goddamn much. I want to go eat some ice cream and cool it off. And are
you retiring?
I'm retiring for the evening. We've done an hour. It's good enough. An hour and 3 minutes.
I know our last 3 have been like 3 hours.
Yeah, so it adds up. You can take 20 minutes off this one. BenBen signing off. Stay fab with DWA. Let me know what side of the Amber Heard Johnny Depp. Are you an Amber? Are you a Johnny? Or if you're into BPD, people, are you a Pete Davidson? I honestly don't understand how that man's even famous. Who the fuck likes Pete Davidson? What straight man likes Pete? Like, I'm a big Pete Davidson fan. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, why you kindred spirits because your dad also died on a plane on 9/11? All right, man. I'll see you later. BenBen out. Peace.